Okay, so I had to start over I had to start my live stream over. Okay. I had to, I just did, I had to start my live stream over here. And so I'm just coloring here with my colored pencils. I'm pretty sure I know, I have an idea what's going on. It's just I need to, I mean, there's things yeah, I think I know what to do here. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys will subscribe. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and hit the thumbs up button, share it with your friends. And so we're working on some coloring here. Okay, so I need to go, let's see, what is it I need to do? Okay, I'm going to go back in here on the chance. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay, so I've got my chat here up so I can see. And so I'm making, this is a Jack Russell Terrier. I know it might not look like it, but it is a dog. It is a dog. And so I'm going to make the tail this color. We're just coloring here. And then I'm going to color some of the same color in here. Anyone have any questions? Well, hello, Jericho. I told that guy and my ex today that I have a thing for him, and it didn't go over well. I bet it didn't go over well, Jericho. You're a dude, and he's a dude, and I'm pretty positive it didn't go over very well. What happened? Would you care to share? Would you like to share your experience with us by you telling another man that you have a thing for him? I just know without a doubt that it probably didn't go over very well. I had a similar thing happen where there was a woman who approached me in a bar one time, and she was trying to look for other women. And, I just graciously told her no, that I don't do that kind of stuff. And she was polite and she said, okay. And I don't know, I think it was somebody just being a jerk because my ex-husband was in the bar too. And I just think he was being a jerk. I think that he probably set the woman up and had her come and ask me about it. And, so I just told her no. I don't know what would have made her think that I was that way, or that she could just come and ask me that stuff. So I don't know. I found the situation very uncomfortable when they did that. And it's like, I don't know what would make people just think that that's something I'm interested in when I'm not. I never have been. So, Jericho, please share with us what happened. I'm all ears here. I'd like to hear what happened. Did he do something that you didn't like to you, or just got angry and yelled at you, or? Oh, and you told him he was beautiful. Programmer FG, what the hell? I scrolled past you 4 times. Why did you scroll past me 4 times? I mean, you should have stopped, and you can stop and, say a little bit or something and come back and look again or something. And so we're coloring today. We're doing arts and crafts. We're doing a lot of arts and crafts here. And there's other people who have said they're burnt out for some reason because their art has been turned, even with the photography people. I am so shocked to hear that. Nothing against you personally. Yeah, I know. And so the photography people have even said that their photography that they were doing has them feeling like their hobby turned into a job, and a job they can't make profitable. And so they're struggling and they're having a hard time with things. And this is something I have said myself before. Oh, I didn't do my green. Oh my goodness. I forgot the green. You know, well, I'm going to make a green nose. We're going to make the nose green anyway. Um, I know it's nothing personal. I mean, because I do the same thing. You know, I will look through videos. I scroll, and I mean, I've probably scrolled through tens of thousands of videos, not just thousands, but tens of thousands. And a lot of them I watch the videos, uh, you know, but a lot of times it, you, I don't know what to call it. The Disney stuff, you know, it might be the Disney stuff that looks like it's been made in the Magic Kingdom or something. I'm not sure exactly. But I know I'm a real person. I've always been a real person, and I've said that before, that I'm a real person, even though people have called me names and said I'm not a real person. I don't find that offensive. It's like, thank you for flattering me to think that artificial intelligence is as smart as I am. And for, you know, you guys have told me for many, many decades and years that I have a low IQ and I'm living in someone's basement. Thank you, L Supreme. I'm thinking I'm going to make green on the rest of these lines here. That's what I'm going to do. Is we're going to make green. It looks to me like a lot of these YouTubers shows that they had are ending, quite possibly. That's what I'm seeing is an ending to they said they got tired of doing the shows that they're doing all the time because they got bored with them. And so, I mean, that makes sense to me, you know, so they have all their followers, and if they try to do something on their same channel, I mean, it makes it hard for them because their viewers are used to something else. And so I don't know why the algorithm does that. You know, I think you can pull it off to varying degrees. But it does kind of make it challenging, though, if you have followers who like watching a certain thing and then you put something else on that they don't like. You know, then you're literally turning yourself into a network. You know, individually, you're turning yourself into a network, sort of, because of the fact that, okay, what comment are you talking about? I just said there what happened. Oh, I just now saw it. I met him at the bar and they were kissing, and I went up and told her that she was right to leave me, and she started laughing, and then I told him he was beautiful. He smiled, and she said, at least I admit it. Okay, so you admitted that the man is beautiful, and your girlfriend said okay. So that doesn't, I mean, that doesn't sound bad. So far, it doesn't sound bad. I mean, did something else happen that sounded bad? That was bad? That doesn't sound bad. At least you admit that the man is beautiful. Okay. I mean, I know another man was really upset when I wrote that someone was beautiful. I called a man, what did I say? I said he was beautiful, and they got upset. That was the only reason they got upset, when I said he was beautiful. And I thought, well, okay, you got upset because I said, oh my gosh, the dog's snout looks like a bowling pin, doesn't it? It looks like a bowling pin. Good grief. Okay, so I'm coloring on the outside lines here with some dark green color is what I'm doing. And then he says, Jericho says, Taste spent the whole. Well, what happened to you? Retracted the message. Nope, I didn't get to see your comment. Let me see here. You retracted the comment. Uh, nope, I sure didn't see your comment. And YouTube took it away that fast too, so I guess they're not saving comments anymore. That's funny. So the people who have been extracting comments from YouTubers, and that they will do that. That I've always said that that's something that, um, that what do we want to call them? The advertising people who they want to use things that other people write. If you don't want something on someone else's channel popping up on their channel again in the future, or a channel that's similar, something in their network, you do have the right to retract it, and then you won't be able to see it. So, and they spent the night kissing in a way that I could see to make me jealous, and then while she was sitting on his lap, she gave me the loser sign with her fingers across the bar. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the dog. I guess he won, really, hasn't he? No, I don't think he's won. If I were you, I would, no, he really hasn't won. I don't think. Just because you see something in a way you see it at that time doesn't mean that that's how it's going to turn out. Like it's like everybody else says with the president and stuff like that. What they've said is, "Oh, you guys are giving that man real estate in your brain." And for me, it's like, okay, well, that's only because you guys talked about him so much. You know what I'm doing right now? I'm not giving that man real estate in his brain, in my brain. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing stuff like this, and I'm not talking about the stuff as much anymore, you know. But the truth is that people do think about things, but I don't do stuff like that much. That seems like obsessive. I mean, was there something that you wanted to talk to her about, or something that I'm missing? You just wanted to tell him that he was beautiful. That's all you wanted to do. You wanted to tell him that he was a beautiful man, and for whatever reason. I mean, how do I word this? In the past, people used to use the wording, they would call married couples a very handsome couple. They use those words often. That's common. A handsome couple. Now you can call them a beautiful couple. So if you use the terminology beautiful couple, that includes the man too, doesn't it? I mean, so I don't know why someone would be upset with usage of the terminology of a beautiful couple. That doesn't really make much sense to me, why they would be upset about that. Yeah, that is really cute. We're going to have a little dog. And so he probably, I don't know, he might be getting a currency out of what you're doing, possibly. He needs attention. Okay, listen to this, Jericho. He needs attention. That man needs attention, and that's why he's doing what he's doing. He needs attention, and he's getting it from you in some way because you're giving it to him. I mean, I know it might be hard and sound hard. Just ignore him. Just ignore him and her altogether. And don't give them the time of day. And let them do what they do. And, and because you know what? There's an awful lot of people in society. They're pretending to be happy couples, but they're not. They're not happy. And so they're just putting on a fake front that they're happy. They're really not happy together. And it's likely that him and her won't last. They probably won't last very long. That's what I'm thinking. So I don't know how, and especially if she this is something I learned today. They had, what was it called? It was like a slingshot relationship. What in the world was that thing called? It was like a bounce around relationship, where slingshot, bounce around, something like that, where a person goes from one relationship to another until they find someone that they actually want to be with. Let me see if I can find it. There was a lady I watched. She did a live stream about it. And my videos, it should be in here. Or it's in my history. I watched it earlier this morning. Now, I didn't delete my history. What did she call it? And it made complete sense. It was about narcissists, and because I get a lot of those types of videos up right now. And okay, or did she just disappear? She was on earlier today, and she called it, it seems like her video has disappeared for some reason from my history. Okay. Wait a second. Maybe I can. Okay, let me get rid of all this. And let's see. Can you draw a bug in a rug? I sure can draw a bug in a rug. That will be good for another video. A bug in a rug. I'll have to remember that. The life of bugs, right? And bugs don't have very long lives. A bug in a rug. Okay, let me go over here and see if I can find it. I was trying to find the woman that I was watching, and I just can't even find her video right now. I thought I kept, I was thinking, so is that her? Nope, that's not the woman I was watching. There was another woman, and she was doing some kind of a, well, wait a minute. Let me see if I can find her over here. Let me go back into my history, and then I'm going to go into my live chat. Okay, I should be able to find her. Okay. Oh, here she is. Oh, they call it monkey barring. What she called it was monkey barring. And so they swing from one relationship to another to another. And so they string along two people at the same time. And so, Jericho, are you still here? I hope you're still here. Because she is monkey barring is what she's doing. Both men and women do this. It's not just a one gender thing. Both of them are doing it. So you're caught up in a monkey barring. So, right, and I guarantee it that if this guy dumps her, she's going to come back to you, Jericho. Do you hear me, Jericho? Are you still here? So if she dumps the other guy, she's going to come back to you. I guarantee it, Jericho. If this other guy finds another woman, he's monkey barring. He's probably monkey barring. She's monkey barring you. And she is monkey barring you. And he is probably monkey barring her. So he's probably got more than Jericho. You know what? Jericho, listen to me if you're still here. Are you still here? If you actually if you actually wanted wanted to find out something, you should follow him and see if he has other women. Now, I know you're going to be inclined. Now, don't let him know that you're there. Just, you know, if you know where he lives or something like that, just go happen to be in the same bar, the same place at the same time he's there, and don't be obvious and stuff like that. I wouldn't do anything like that. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, the big gaming. And so, Jericho, it's likely that this guy probably has another girl. I'm pretty sure that he does. Because you're saying he is so beautiful that without a doubt, I'm sure he has another woman waiting on the side. So he's doing the monkey barring, and so I hope I still am subscribed to this woman, because the thing I'm finding is that's really weird is that I unsubscribe from some channels, and then somehow I end up still subscribed to them the next day after I unsubscribe from them. And then there's ones that I find out I'm unsubscribed from, and I thought I was still subscribed to them. And so I don't know what's going on. We've been talking about that for a long time, that YouTube does some really weird stuff to us from time to time. And we end up unsubscribed from channels, and then we end up subscribed to channels that we never subscribed to. And I don't know how that happens, but it just does. And so, new school year starts in 6 hours. My last year. Oh, so you're a senior in high school. Well, congratulations on that. So do you have anything planned for your future, or has someone been telling you, helping you plan things out, what you're supposed to do in life, or anything like that? I mean, because right now I have mixed feelings on, it's like I want young folks to feel like they have something to look forward to in life, but I know I didn't. When I was young, I didn't. So that's something normal. So if you feel like you have nothing to look forward to in life when you graduate high school, that's a normal feeling. I felt that way my own self. And, but I was being pushed kind of into marriage, because that's what church did, was kind of push us into marriage. And so that's just a society that I grew up in, unfortunately, instead of, being, the single life, that it's okay to be single. And, if this country wants responsible family planning, the single life is the way to go. So you stay single, and you don't have any kids, and you don't have to worry about any type of, women don't have to worry about taking care of a baby. Men don't have to worry about taking care of a baby. You just take care of yourself, and you do some responsible family planning right from the get-go. And there's nothing wrong with that. New school. Okay, I'm almost 16, so I got time. My dream is to be a gardener. Oh, that sounds nice. A gardener would be really nice. I th- um I think a gardener would be really, really nice. I mean, there's so many different things you can do with that, and there's like a big uh I always, when I think about it, my mom was a gardener, and for me, I didn't think it was fun, because now, if we got to eat some of the strawberries and some of the things out of the garden, there was two things that I really, really liked when I was a kid. When we were picking stuff out of the garden. And my mom and I have to say this first, my mom would tell us not to sit down, because she said there was snakes in the garden, and she was seeing them all the time, because she was home before she got her job outside of the house. She was home, and so she would tell us to not sit down on the dirt, because there was gardener snakes in the dirt. That's what they're called, gardener snakes. They're not poisonous, and they might bite, they might not. Usually they're more scared of you. It's likely that they're not going to bite you. And so we would just sit down, and we I wasn't scared of snakes because I never saw them. I only heard my mom talking about them being in the garden, but I never saw one. The whole, for the most part, most of the time, there was one day she found one and she called me outside and showed me where the snake was at. And then she was scared of it, and then I was kind of scared of it because I saw the snake in the garden. But up until and I was older, it was up until she actually showed me the snake, I really wasn't scared of it. She was even talking about a snake being in the sand pile. But let me get to the favorite thing that we were doing. So she'd send us out to the garden. She would tell us not she would tell us to wear shoes, and because we didn't want to get in the garden and get with the snakes if there was a bunch of them. And so we were picking, so we'd have a little oh, she'd tell us to kind of smash around the vegetables and stuff like that with we would have a gardening tool, and so we would kind of smash around there just to scare the snakes out of there. And so, and I found out that's one of the best ways if you want to get rid of snakes and stuff, get them out of a tree or something, get a big gardening tool and just tap it around your immediate area where you're at. Do all that first. You're going to scare them away. You're going to scare everything away. So you're not going to come upon something sleeping. Just, that's what you want to do. You want to make sure it's scared of you. So just tap it around, say, okay, all you little critters around here, you gotta go. I'm gonna be here for a little bit, and then you can come back and do what you're doing, but I need to pick some fruit and things like that. You can do that with a long tool in a tree too. Just tap it around in the tree. You don't want them falling down on you. And so anyway, then I would eat the strawberries and the tomatoes. Oh my gosh, my mom had cherry tomatoes and they were so good. So I can't tell you how many cherry tomatoes that I would eat just straight. And I would tell my mom that I was eating them, and she's like, "Oh, gross, you ate them with dirt on them and you didn't wash them?" And I said, "Yeah, I did. I really did. They were so good. I ate them." And she's like, "Well, you should at least wash them first." Then she's like, "I used manure from the from the store to put on the garden. You need to wash the vegetables first before you eat them." And so I wasn't thinking about it because I didn't know. Mom didn't tell us that she put manure on the vegetables until later, until after we ate the vegetables out of the garden. And so she was just using some of that manure from the home improvement store. And, I'm still here. There apparently the manure had kind of dispersed into the vegetables, and I never knew when she was putting the manure on. She never told us she put the manure on. She just sent us out there, and all I saw was a little tiny cherry tomato. To me, it was like a strawberry, and it's like, I'm going to reward myself a little bit while I'm doing this stuff. And I was sitting there eating. So I'd be eating the cherry tomatoes, the strawberries, the rhubarb straight out of the garden, and it was so good. Oh my gosh, Rhubarb is really, really good with, I mean, you can mix rhubarb with just about everything. Rhubarb, straight out of the garden with dipped in salt. Then you've got that sweet and sour taste. And oh my God, oh, it's so good. I tell you what, my mom made some of the best rhubarb upside down cake. Oh, it was so good. She was the best cook. I tell you, my mom was the best cook. And so, it was the recipes. I'm sure someone else's mom was the best cook for them. And if we ate the food, it's like, I would probably eat it and say, "Oh, it's just not like mom's," but that doesn't mean it's not good. It was good to someone else. I'm sure it's good to me too. It's just, it tastes a little bit different because I use different recipes. Nothing wrong with that. I've tasted a lot of food that other people have cooked that is really, really good. I've tasted new things. I'm one to try new things, so things that my mom didn't cook. I'm that kind of person who's going to try something new. Let me read what the Big Gaming says. My mom and my grandma also got giant gardens with a lot of fruits, and we don't got snakes in Germany, though. The great snake scaring. I'd rather eat dirt. What happened here? Dirt drenched tomatoes that have manure on them. I mean, I know it sounds gross, but it's one of those things when it's put on. Okay, when the manure is put on the tomatoes in the springtime, and then the tomatoes are ripe later, several weeks later, the manure has kind of soaked up in the dirt. Think of dirt as nothing but manure. That's what I mean, think about it. Dirt is nothing but manure if you want to think about it like that. But yeah, oh my gosh, tomatoes with dirt, they are absolutely the best. It has been so long since I have had a tomato mixed in dirt. Such a long time. I miss it tremendously. I wanted to grow my own tomatoes, and they are so good. I actually, when I was a kid, I have to say, I got to go outside when I went in my mom's garden. And that wasn't a chore that I hated doing. I actually liked doing it. Um, you know, it wasn't something I completely hated. Um, she would have us picking peas. I would eat the peas. I would eat the peas. And the green beans was not as much fun because I couldn't eat them. But the sweet peas, she had those sweet snap peas, and you'd pluck off the end. So sometimes she wouldn't cook. Mom didn't cook the peas. Her peas were not the ones that were peas where you had the whole pod. Even when you cooked them, the pod was still stalky and hard. She would have the sweet peas that were peas you plucked off both ends and then you slid the peas out. And so we sat outside on the deck plucking peas for hours. I mean, we would be out there for a long, long time. There would be a whole bunch of them, and these were the peas you could eat straight out of the pod. And oh my gosh, they were so good. Oh, I mean, the peas in the pod. And so I'd be sitting there eating them, and that was kind of the fun thing about it. And then we'd get a sibling, though, who would be like, oh, telling on the other one, they're eating the peas out of the pod. And so then you'd have to kind of sneak them. And then mom would be like, don't be eating the peas out of the pod. Yeah, then there's going to be nothing left for canning, And it wasn't like I was eating that many of them. I was just eating them because it was a good taste. But I tell you what, cherry tomatoes, oh my gosh, cherry tomatoes straight out of dirt. Any kind of tomatoes straight out of dirt, they are so good. And even the corn on the cob, the sweet corn was fun. Corn on the cob and sweet corn was a lot of fun. We are heading into fall. This is a perfect time. And I have a thing I wrote on my YouTube blog, on my YouTube community about a year ago about the things I did when I was a kid. I always say that fall was my mom's favorite time of year. Not necessarily. I think every time of the year was her favorite time of the year. And so she, when there was something to do when we were kids, she was doing the housework, house baking stuff. And the big game, Jericho, I missed your message, actually. I didn't see what you wrote. You retracted your message again. Yeah, we got many kinds of tomatoes, some spices, potatoes, cucumbers, strawberries. Oh, my grandpa, when grandpa made, oh, okay, here is what Jericho wrote. I asked her, it was true, they say about, and she licked and said everything. Okay. I see why he retracted the message. Okay, we're just not going to repeat all of that. We're going to repeat, I said enough of it. And so, we would sit on the deck, it was just an old wooden deck, and we would be husking. We called it husking corn. And so we'd be sitting outside husking the corn. So if mom decided to grow sweet corn, she didn't grow it every year. Mom did not grow sweet corn every year. It was some years she would grow sweet corn, other years she wouldn't grow sweet corn. So it wasn't, sometimes she would grow what we called Indian corn. The Indian corn was the colorful corn, and you still see that in the American stores to this day. You'll see Indian corn in the stores, and that's the little tiny colorful corn that comes around about the time of fall. And, so there's just a lot of, fun memories from things around the fall time, it seems like, because that's when the crops are coming in. And so in the summertime, there was crops and things that were coming in, um, crops that were coming in, all summer long, sometimes, and sometimes. I guess okay, I was trying to see what Jericho wrote. So the other message, yeah, it did disappear. So if I look at it fast enough, I can see it, but right now the messages are disappearing altogether. And so I was looking at looking at the sweet corn. We were doing sweet corn. We'd be sitting outside, and then we would make the fun little husks. Do you ever eat Royal Danks cookies? Nope, I've never had Royal Danks cookies before. I don't know what that is. I actually liked making my own cookies. Cookies are entirely too expensive. When I look at, there's some cookies that I might buy as a treat every once in a while for myself. Cookies are just too expensive. They're entirely too expensive right now. And the packages have gotten smaller. They've gotten a lot smaller. And so it's really, if you're paying $5 for 24 cookies that are the size of what 24 cookies used to be with a larger package 25 years ago, you're not really getting anything extra. You're just getting a higher price for less cookies. That's all that's happening. And so that's why a lot of these brands are going out of business right now. Best non-self-made cookies. I don't know. I mean, their recipes have changed so much. It's kind of like when KFC and Coca-Cola changed their recipes and people were upset about it. I can't get too attached to any one brand because of the fact that they change it and then it doesn't taste the same. And that is cute. That turned out really cute. At first, I wasn't too sure about it, but I'm thinking I need to do a little bit. Okay, let me do a little bit of this. Let's add a couple of this in here like this, and then fill this in a little bit more. Because that's what I was seeing. Yeah, there. Yeah. We'll add in some little reflections and make kind of a figure 8 of reflections in here. And so right now I really don't eat any cookies or anything like that because I liked making my own cookies that were homemade, but I'm not able to do that right now. It is really cute. It is a very cute dog, and we're going to have a little bit of fun with this a little bit later. I have noticed something with the Google Photos and YouTube. There's some similarities. So in the Google Photos, we can do some similar things here. Oh, it's 042 in Germany, so that must mean that it's about almost 45 minutes after. So you're in Germany then? Or are you one of these people who is lying about where you're at? Because I know there's a lot of you who are telling lies about where you're at. when you're over in some stupid Walmart supercenter or something like that. That's what it sounds like to me, because like Walmart's trying to do things on the internet and it ain't going to work for Walmart. Walmart is not a search engine, it's just a grocery store. And if you have to have the police there all the time because you become the size of a city every day, your store is too fucking big. Did you guys ever think about that, Walmart? So, oh, something else that happened too was there's a lot more people who have lost jobs. And now this is what they want to do. And they want to send their people to college for a job. I'm not sure what that's what the businesses are doing. They want to send their people to college for a job now. So that's how they're justifying firing people that they just want to let go. And so they're offering them an education. And it's likely that their education isn't going to amount to anything because I don't know. They're just saying, oh, you can go to college and then find a job. That's not true. College. Oh, we had this discussion this past week. There aren't Walmarts here. The nearest we go to Walmart is Coughlin. Oh, is the store's called Coughlin now over there, or they have a Coughlin store? I've never heard of Coughlin before, so it might be something new. Um, is that the name of a store in Germany? Is Coughlin? Let me look and see. I haven't looked. I know there used to be a Meister's. Kaufland. Coughlin, Germany supermarket. Let me see here. Yep, it sure is. It sure is. Interesting. Yep. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. Oh my goodness, it sure is. It's a grocery store. And it actually looks... Oh my goodness. Yeah, Coughlin. It actually looks like it just looks like a grocery store. And so Germany has kind of done away with the big super centers that they used to have. And they have more of a grocery store now that doesn't have all that extra junk in it like they used to have. So I think the United States is heading in that same direction. Yeah, I didn't know that. I hadn't looked. I know someone had told me when I lived in Germany, and this was a long, long time ago now. They said Walmart tried to open, and so then they literally said they tried to open a Walmart in Germany, and that didn't work. So they had to open it under a different name. That's maybe they used Meisters. I don't know. I have no idea. I know that the countries try to do things with each other, that's kind of similar to see if the people like it, if they're accepting to a lot of the things. And it does seem like, let me see what Vincent Gencourt wrote, The Big Game. I'm in France and we probably the same hour and we have different brands of supermarkets and it's not always the same. Thank you. Thank you for saying that's a cute dog. Okay, a grocery store maybe the whole world needs to just call it grocery store. Do you guys think? We could just call it grocery store. I mean, now, okay, I'll tell you something. What I should have this is what I should have done was looked at, let me go back here to Coughlin's. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to see Suska Republica, France. Oh, it's in France. Deutschland, Suska Republica, France. Hrvatska, Ostrich, which is, I believe that Ostrich is Australia. Polska, Republic Moldova. Romania, Slovensko. So it's in all these different countries is what it's in. So I can put it in English here. Yep, I was somewhat right. Kaufland's is in Germany, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, France, Croatia, Austria, Poland, Republic of Moldova, Romania, and Slovak. Um, Now it doesn't actually, it's just there. It doesn't have, well, let me go to the one in Germany. Okay, you could have, you couldn't give me anything in English, could you? Verify that I'm, okay. No, you couldn't. Oh, okay. Okay, so they do have bicycles. They've got TVs. Yeah, it looks kind of the same. They've got a grocery store. It just looks like an American store. That's what it looks like. They've got an Apple smartphone for 1,229 euros. They have got a weight machine for 149,000 euros. That seems really, really expensive. 149, or is that 149 euros, not 149,000? Oh no, it's 149 euros 99, 149.99 euros. That their comma is, that's confusing because we use a period, and so they're just the opposite. They've got a baby seat for 109 euros and 90. I don't know what they call the cents part in euros. If anybody knows that, maybe you can share that with me. The big gaming, the big supermarkets is Edeka, Aldi, Kaufland, and Tomb. You know, I think I remember Aldi when I lived in Germany. Aldi was in Germany. So that's one of the stores actually that's able, I'm not sure what Aldi does that's different, but Aldi is doing something apparently. Maybe because it's just a grocery store. I don't know, but it seems to be able to make it in foreign countries where not all stores are able to do that. So we actually have different word types, the type of store there. Hypermarket, let's see here, hang on a second. Hype March, Supermarket, Supermarch. We have Auchan, Leclerc, Little, Aldi, Super U, and others, Euro and cent. Do you still have the Esso station over in Germany? Esso, I don't know if Esso station, I'm thinking it might have been in a whole bunch of different European Union type countries. When I was there, I just never was able to go to other countries to see that. I know it was in Germany, the Esso station. And they had a Shell station. Shell is over in Germany, for crying out loud. Shell and I believe BP was over there. So the gas companies were the same. And that's why I always thought it was funny that in the United States, the price of gas was always being jaw-jacked up and down. I mean, someone on the world market is controlling the gas, jaw-jacking it up and down so they make a profit. I mean, when they could keep it at just one price, couldn't they? They could. I don't know. Esso station, Shell isn't everywhere. Yeah, I know it's not everywhere. I agree with you on that. But I know I saw, where I lived at, there was a Shell station, a Shell gas station in the area of Germany where I lived. Let's see, BP, STATION, Germany, ANY, BP station. BP station, Germany. The countries, Germany fuels markets, about 2,400 fuel stations of BP are in Germany. So yes, there are a whole bunch of BP stations in Germany. That's where they're mostly at. The BP stations are mostly in Germany. Orzel, BP Orzel, BP Europa SE, Aral AG, BP Europa SE. BP puts German refinery up for sale. So I had no idea that oil is being refined in Germany. Did you guys know that? Where? I just learned something new today. I had no idea that oil is refined. Oil in Germany. Many. Oil in Germany. Germany produces a small amount of domestic crude oil from oil fields, primarily the Lower Saxony and Schleswig-Holstein, but relies heavily on imports to meet its high consumption, with the United States, Libya, and Norway being major suppliers in 2023 after Russia was phased out. Oh my goodness. So the United States imports oil to Germany instead of Germany getting it from Russia. The country has significant crude oil and petroleum product reserves for emergencies and operates the largest refining capacity in the European Union. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let me see. What was the other one? Shell gas. I'm just going to put gas station in Germany. Shell gas in Germany. Okay, I spelled it wrong. Does Shell operate in Germany? Active is 20 plus European countries across all major gas and power networks, with Shell energy sales offices in Germany. How many Shell stations? United States Shell locations 13,437. Brazil, there's 6,423. Germany is 1,838. Canada 1,414. Turkey 1,241. Australia 1,174. Philippines 1,159. United Kingdom 1,118. So there's a good monopoly going on with gasoline around the world. Um, that's what it looks like. Okay, let me see what they're writing here. So IGTG sleep through. I gotta go to school in 5 hours. Nowadays, France, we don't have independent gas stations because it's a national company for gas and gas called Total Energy. You already have school there, but it was very common to have independent gas stations back in the yeah, oh yes, absolutely, you're right. Independent gas stations back in the 1960s and 70s. Now, but the thing is, I'll tell you one of the problems with the independent gas stations, and the movies depict this. The older movies depict problems with the independent gas stations and the hotels, is they discriminated against people. And, that could be anyone. So if someone went in, they were smoking or something like that, they might not let them in the, they might not let them get gas. And so, that's one of the things that, so people who were of different ethnicities, the independent gas stations would just say, okay, we're not going to serve you. And then people were wondering why. So then basically what they were doing is leaving them stranded. So this is what I learned. But then I was also thinking, it's like, well, that could be with anything, because I know back when I was, at the time when I was graduating from high school, I called up this woman out of a newspaper, and they were renting a place, and they were requiring people to be married, that you had to be married actually to live in an apartment. And so, and that was in my lifetime, and I considered that discrimination, actually. I didn't think about it at the time, but I didn't want to get married. I just wanted a inexpensive apartment, a place to live with my uh, roommate at the time, who eventually became my future husband. I don't know. I mean, he and I would have been better off just to be together by ourselves than how things were going because we couldn't afford to live any place. And so both of us were sent out into the world. We were close in age. We were both sent out in the world unprepared with absolutely nothing, no job. We were just basically kicked out to be homeless. That's what our parents thought about us. They didn't really think too much about us at all. They didn't care about us, so um and so when people, and they wondered, they always say, oh, well, every generation blames the generation before, which is true. But it's like, well, plus we have a society that needs blamed as well. And society is the problem. We do, it is systemic. Obama was right about that when he said it's systemic. He was absolutely right about it. But nobody wants to talk about the systemic part. How people can't make it on their own. So if you can't make it on your own by yourself and you feel like you have to be with someone else, we have a problem. Nobody wants to just live with you just because someone says, oh, well, go live with someone else and then that's going to work. Well, no, you do it first. You go live with someone else. You go live with someone else you don't like. And then you tell me if that works out for you. Tell me if you get out of that relationship. Oh, China Remix. China Remix. The China Remix. You want to do a China Remix? For how many months or weeks is this going to go on? I'm tired of China. I am so tired of China. Now I was watching a live stream of China. Oh my gosh, these people from China cooked the best looking food. Where they were cooking, it looked just like they were in the United States almost. And I know they weren't, though. There was a time period like U.S. segregation in the 1950s. Everyone was well. We still had colonies in Africa. Sure, there was racism, but it wasn't well seen. You're right. Well, the thing is, right now, the racism is well seen, and it's done towards women. Um, the racism is done towards women. I mean, for lack of a better word, because I always thought racism had to do with, well, yeah, the gas station thing. Where people and they went to a hotel and someone needed to stay in a hotel, and they said, no, your skin color isn't quite right for me to be letting you stay in the hotel. And when they did that, that becomes discrimination, doesn't it? So when you just reject someone from staying in a hotel or from getting gas and from getting food, doesn't that become discrimination? I'm pretty positive it does. So it makes sense why the corporations came in, but then at the same time, there are people who do like to have an independent business, but the corporations will always put the independent business out of business because of discrimination. And from what I see right now, then the migrants come into the United States in 2025 and they want to discriminate. So they just want to do things for their own people. So they are become the ones who discriminate. I've seen that. Where they discriminate and then they just want to just help people that come to the United States from their own country. So I even question right now the Underground Railroad. I didn't at one time, but I do now, related to who they were helping. Because I just think there are so many lies told, and Africa is one of the biggest lies. So the people from Africa, they just want to blame the white man for everything, but they always forget that they were coming from a country that was enslaving them. The people from Africa, they were enslaved in Africa. Then they want to come to the United States and do the same thing in the United States and enslave people in the United States. So they're basically sending the people who were enslaved in Africa to the United States, and then the Africans want to enslave people in the United States and do the same thing. There wasn't a time period like Oh, okay, I think, did I already read that? Yeah, I already read that. The 13 colonies. Yeah. And so the thing I'm thinking about with the story with Africa is basically then the United States is getting blamed for allowing migration to take place into the United States. The people in Africa were enslaving their own people. The Africans come to the United States and then they want to enslave people in the United States and do the same thing. That's what I'm seeing is happening. Especially with what has been taking place, that's actually what's happening. And then they blame a white person for doing it. And it's like, and nobody else knows what's going on. But yet Africa had apartheid and they enslaved their own people. And so someone was going over there trying to tell them that it's a bad practice without too much, intervention, just trying to tell them, well, maybe this isn't a good idea to be doing that. Well, then they want to blame the white man for enslaving them. Well, okay, so what is the white man doing to enslave you? You're the one who's doing the enslaving of your own people, and then you tend to forget about that, but then you blame the white man, so you're creating your own distraction from reality and telling yourself a story and wanting to continue with the same bad practices of capitalism and the kingdom being a king. So it sounds to me like even people in Africa are upset because um, they lose money over a lot of, when they're a king, when they're a dictator. And it's like, okay, so you're teaching old, outdated practices that don't work. Now, it works if you're a king or a dictator, billions and billions of dollars, but it doesn't work independently. So I'm confused. I'm really confused. So, I mean, because if you want to enslave someone else, you want to enslave someone else into marriage. You want to enslave someone else into money, into a job, into cryptocurrency, into that daily grind that just doesn't work. And you have to be working to get medical care. I mean, that's just the truth of what it is. So, anyway, I think I've talked too long right now. I don't see anything else new on here. I talked too long and I should have followed suit with my first video. So I think from now on, I'm gonna keep shorter live streams. I'm gonna try to do my live streams for about 10 minutes or less. That's what I'm gonna do is try to do them in 10 minutes or less. So some of my future live streams, I might have some of my templates drawn out a little bit maybe before I do them. I'm not sure. But, so here's a good, oh, those eyes are really pretty. The eyes are really, really pretty. Maybe I should write on here what it is. I need to do that before I go. I've already made my video too long. And so where should I write it at? Up here. Okay, Jack, J, A, C, K, Russell, R, U, S, S, E, L, terrier, T, E, R, R, I, E, R. Okay, there we go, Jack Russell Terrier. So if you have any thoughts on what kind of dog I should draw next, I'm going to make a short of this video. I'm going to make a short of this here in a little bit. Well, actually, I could do it right now. I'm going to make a short and see. Hang on. I'm going to see if it gets views. And so I made a short of the drawing of my Jack Russell Terrier. And I'm going to, there's going to be a couple of them. They're not the same videos. They might look like the same, but they're not going to be the same. And so if you want me to draw some other kind of animal, let me know what you want me to draw. If you'd like me to do something, I can do the live combination of the live stream and shorts. And so I just like to hear what other people, what they want drawn for their animals and things like that.